Welcome back guys, today's hair tutorial is this boho ethereal bridal look. It's really simple and easy to recreate. If you missed Sunday's upload, it was on this beautiful model of mine called Rihanna and we created this stunning bridal look on her. As Rihanna's hair is quite dark, you can't necessarily see all the detail of the hair that we're creating, so I have inserted some clips from two previous tutorials using the same method. And I will link those on screen for you, so if you want to check those out so you can get a better idea of the technique and it's a little bit more in depth, watch either of those first and then come back, you'll know exactly what I'm creating and how I'm doing it. I just left the camera rolling. I hadn't planned on filming an actual hair tutorial, so it isn't going to be as in depth, but it will give you an idea on how to create the look. Rihanna's already loosely curled her hair with some straighteners because her natural hair is quite curly, but if your hair is quite fine or medium thickness, I would use a large barrel tong. This is going to help to add some volume and body to your hair but also smooth out the cuticles so it's nice and silky. I'd also add some mousse to your hair when you're drying it just to create a little bit of grip to the hair. I'm creating this look on a side parting, but you can do it on a centre parting, it's completely up to you. I'm taking my first section, which is about 1 inch in depth and 2 inches wide, and I'm securing that with a clear elastic, but you can use dark elastics if you've got dark hair. Don't tie the elastic right to the root because you want a little bit of give at the front to create a tiny pocket to pull the ponytail through on itself to create a topsy-turvy. Then I'm just pulling at both the sections of the topsy-turvy to create a bit more volume. This is the best way to create a braid if you're not very good at French braids or Dutch braids, and it's a great way to make sure your hair's secure for your wedding date and that it's not going to come loose. Taking another section directly underneath the first one, again around 1 inch in depth, 2 inches wide, and we're going to section that off with a clear elastic. Going back to the top ponytail, we're going to separate that into two sections, and then we're going to pull through the bottom section so it lays over the top. Then we're going to repeat what we've done by taking a new section, same depth, same width, only this time we're including the two sections from the front ponytail and we're going to tie all that off together. Then we're going to repeat the whole process again. So taking the ponytail out of Rihanna's hands, we're going to split that into two and we're going to pull the bottom ponytail through. Rihanna's going to hold that ponytail out of place while I create a new section underneath and tie all of that off together. Now don't worry if you're using clear elastics on dark hair because I actually went in with some eyeliner and just covered clear elastics. Ideally I would use dark elastics but I didn't have any. I'm just going along the very front section of Rihanna's hair and pulling out a few strands so that I can curl those later on, and that's going to give a really beautiful done but undone look. You might find it easier to pull these out before you start tying your hair. We're creating a bit of a halo effect with this braid, so I'm going behind Rihanna's ear for this next section and I've made sure I've pulled some hair out around her ear to frame her face. So up until now we've created the same process. Before I continue to create the halo braid around the nape of the neck, I'm going to start to blow the braid out so it starts to look like a braid. To do this, we want to start to pull out each section on the left and the right, but you want to make sure that you're always pulling on the outer edges and not the centre, otherwise it will become quite loose. You can see this clearer on the clip on the left. For each new section, I'm always using the comb to section the hair off at the back from the crown at the top and pulling it down towards the nape of the neck. And we'll do this till we get to the halfway mark at the back of the neck. If, like Rihanna, you've got layers in your hair and you've got tiny little sections that fall out, simply tuck them into the elastic band, that way they won't be hanging out and it will give you a much tidier finish. Now I've reached the nape of the neck at the back, I'm going to move on to the other side of Rihanna's head and I'm going to repeat the same process. For that very top section I've created a topsy-turvy, and then I'm creating a ponytail directly underneath that top section. But as you can see, I'm pulling the tendrils of hair out at the front before I tie the elastics on this side, just so you can see both options. So once again, taking that top ponytail and splitting it into two, and then taking the ponytail underneath and pulling that through the centre. Then we're going to take a new section of hair underneath, including the split ponytail, and we're going to tie all that together. On this side, I'm just showing you that you can pull your hair out as you go for each section. You don't have to wait until you've done 4 or 5. I just feel like that's the best part because that's when the look really starts to come together, so it's quite nice to get the majority of the braid done and then take your time by pulling the braid out. Also, by doing it at the end, you can decide how much you really want to blow the braid out. You might only want a very small amount or you want it quite large. I can do this section as I go because I've already blown out the other side, so I know that I need to match the same amount of volume. I hope that makes sense. If you watch the other two tutorials with this, I guarantee you'll find this method so much easier. It can be quite complicated the first time you see it, but the more you watch the process, the easier it becomes, and if you're not good at Dutch braids or French braids, then this is a great cheat for you. Then once you finish and you get to the nape of the neck, essentially you should have 4 ponytails. Before I complete the back, I'm taking a large barrel tong and I'm just curling those loose tendrils at the front. You can see from this angle that I've actually gone in with the black eyeliner over the tiny elastics that are no longer visible. Now as we've got 2 sections, we do end up with a little bit of a parting throughout the back, but that doesn't matter too much because you are going to cover it. I'm taking 2 of the ponytails and I'm tying them basically in a knot, and then I'm going to pin the top section and the bottom section in place. I'm pinning the top one quite high to disguise that parting. You can avoid creating a parting altogether if you're clever when you're sectioning your hair off. When I started, I didn't really think I was going to make a tutorial out of it. I should have really thought about this in advance. So I then took the second 2 ponytails and also tied those into a knot, and then just started pinning those tiny little strands that hang out underneath with bobby pins. I've got some flowers and foliage from the florist, so I'm taking some of the leaves and pinning them behind Rihanna's ears. And then I'm taking some carnations, and what's great about those is if you get some fresh ones that are quite close, you can use your thumbs to separate them and open them up yourself. At least you know they're fresh and they're going to last all day. I'm placing them above the braid but at the back, and then I'm going to use a bobby pin to secure that in place. Then I'm taking some individual leaves and placing them around the flowers, and again put them in place first and then secure them with bobby pins. You can also pierce them through the base of the leaf and then push that into the hair. That way you know it's not going to fall or come away from the bobby pin. You can also use the leaves to disguise some of the parting if you've still got some. An obvious floral option that a lot of people go for is gypsophilia, but it has been done and seen a lot over the years. Rihanna is a wedding planner and also advised that gypsophilia is kind of just been there, done that. So together we chose these because we just thought they were really beautiful. They're a classic old school flower, and they're quite a sturdy flower. They'll last the entire day and they'll stay put once you've pinned them. Here we're taking smaller buds and placing them up the length of the hair, and again using my fingers and thumb just to open them up. The other great thing about carnations is that they come in such an array of different colours, so it's quite likely that you'll find a shade to suit your theme. Then we just spray a light layer of lacquer over the top to keep everything in place, and that completes this really easy and relatively quick boho ethereal bridal style hair. Rihanna absolutely loved this hairstyle on herself. I thought it was absolutely beautiful. Please let us both know what you thought in the comment section below. As always, if you enjoyed it, please give the tutorial a thumbs up. To make sure you don't miss any of my future uploads, make sure the notification bell is switched on. You can follow me outside of YouTube. My social handles will be on screen for you now, and if you missed last week's tutorial, it's also on screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!